And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today we are going to make a lemon pepper chicken in the oven. To go alongside that, we're going to make one of my favorite ways to have potatoes, which is a potato and onion roast. And then another side dish we're going to do is a fresh quick saute of spinach with a red pepper and some lemon, and it's so good. So let's get started on the chicken. Now, this is one of those things I've done two ways. I've done this in the oven, which is how I'm going to cook today, but I also have made this very same recipe on this chicken over a campfire. And what you will need to do is get you a sheet of non-stick aluminum foil. Trust me, you want it to be non-stick. If you don't have the non-stick, then use your regular heavier duty aluminum foil and spray it with a non-stick cooking spray. But I really like the non-stick aluminum foil. And you'll season the chicken and everything that I'm doing in the oven the same way, except you won't brown it. And then you'll put each little piece of chicken in a foil sling and fold it up and put it over the fire. But that's not how we're going to do it today. But you can cook this meal completely outside over a campfire, and it's really good and it's really fun. So I have a large, now this particular one is an enamel coated cast iron Dutch oven. You don't have to have the enamel coating on a Dutch oven, but what you will need is something that can go in your oven, whether it be a skillet that you cover with foil or a lid. If you have a lid, most skillets I find don't have lids, but something that can go in the oven. And I just really like these heavy cast iron skillets or Dutch ovens in this case. I have here 6 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You can do this with bone in. You can do this with chicken tenders, which is what I usually use when I'm doing it over my campfire. But today I have boneless, skinless chicken breasts because that's what was on sale. But you can use any cut of chicken that you like. I always like to pat it dry because it browns better in the skillet, which is what we're going to do. And I'm going to take some lemon pepper seasoning, just, store-bought lemon pepper seasoning, and I'm going to liberally sprinkle this over the one side of this chicken, and then when I put it in the pan, I'll sprinkle it over the other, because this is what is going to give your chicken its flavor. So you're going to want a good amount of lemon pepper. I love this seasoning blend. It goes so well with so many things. This is great over fish. It's great in chicken, great in seafood of any kind, great over pork chops. It's just delicious. I love lemon pepper. Adds just a brightness and a tang to really anything. You see how liberally I've coated that, excuse me, that pepper, because that's going to be the basis of our sauce. Now, I have been preheating this pan. I also have my oven set to 375 degrees. I'm going to add, about a tablespoon or so of just canola oil, enough just to coat the bottom of the pan. And it's hot. So I'm gonna add my chicken breasts, the side that I've coated down, and I'm gonna brown them on that side for, probably about 3 minutes or so. And then I'm gonna turn them over. It's okay, because we're gonna actually end up braising this. So you can squeeze them in. It's okay to just kind of, combine them tightly in your pan, because we're going to braise. If you were not going to be braising it, you would not want to crowd your pan to get that good browning on there, because that's not really the point of the chicken. The point of the browning in the skillet is to get those bits on the bottom to build our pan sauce. So let me put this in the sink. Then take the rest of your lemon pepper and you don't have to coat it quite as much on the other side, but just give it a good sprinkling. And then just let that brown for just a minute. And then we will flip it over and build our sauce. So I'm just gonna kind of let that go for a couple of minutes. And we'll start on our next side dish. Now, the next dish that we're gonna make, again, can be done in foil packets. And I've done it both ways. I've done it in the little foil packets like this on a campfire, on a grill. I've also done them in the foil slings in the oven. If I'm not gonna be outside, I just put little individual servings in the foil, fold it up just like this, airtight, and then put it on my baking sheet in the oven, any way you want to. But what you're gonna need is some potatoes. Now I'm using russet potatoes today, but you could use russets, you could use Yukon Gold, you could use the little red potatoes, you can use any kind of potato that you like. And I'm gonna peel them. I like using a knife. If you like using a little vegetable peeler, then you go right ahead, that's fine too. I just prefer to peel with a little paring knife because honestly, that's how my mother did it all those years, and that's just what I do. So I have to always make more of these potatoes than I think I'm gonna need because my son Austin absolutely loves these potatoes. He used to be so picky that he would not try anything that had an onion in it. And then one day we were outside. Make sure you cut out any spots like that. We were actually at a campfire in our yard, in our backyard. I have a little fire pit. And I was cooking, and I made these, and he tried it with the onion, and oh my goodness. Ever since then, this has become his favorite way to have potatoes. So I always have to make extra because he will eat a ton of these potatoes. They are really good, and they're really my favorite way to have potatoes. I'll take these over a baked potato any day. If you want to leave the skins on, you can. I'm just going to peel these, and I'll show you how I'm going to cut them for the little foil packets, if you're doing it that way, or my sheet pan. I cut them in half, and then I cut them in quarters, and I cut them in about 1-inch chunks, just like that. Now, I'm going to actually put these potatoes in a bowl because I'm going to coat them before I put them on my pan. So I'm just going to keep peeling the potatoes and cutting them up and getting them in the bowl. And when I come back, I'll show you how to season them up and get them in the oven, and we'll finish up the chicken. I'll be right back with you in just a minute. Hey, and welcome back. Now, I turned the chicken over. You can see some good browning on the tops of that. That's exactly what you want. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of butter because we're going to build a sauce. I'm going to put a pat of butter, actually I can turn that eye off, on each chicken breast. Because what that's going to do is melt, and then it's going to mix with the juices of the chicken as it cooks and make this wonderful sauce. Now I am going to sprinkle it with just a tiny bit of salt right now. I don't know, about a tablespoon probably for all those chicken breasts, which is not much. Then I'm going to put the lid on this, and I'm going to put it in the oven. Let me get my oven open here. And we're going to set this on that top rack of the oven. And this is why I said make sure that your pan can go in the oven. So that's just going to do its thing in the oven. Now back to the potatoes. I have my potatoes peeled and cubed, and I'm going to use 1 package of the dry onion soup mix. which I love, and some canola oil. I don't know, a couple of tablespoons or so of canola or vegetable. You could even use olive oil if you wanted to. If you have an onion, which I usually do put an onion in there, but I didn't get one today at the store. So if you have an onion, go ahead and cut the onion up and put it in with the potatoes. Cut it up and put it just cut it up into bite-sized pieces. Really adds a lot of flavor to this. And I like to just mix it in a bowl because I find I get it a little more coated. I sometimes will just do it on the sheet pan, but then I miss some. So I like to just do it in a bowl on this one. And then I'm gonna add some pepper. Now that prepackaged up salt mix has quite a bit of salt in it, but I think it needs a little bit more. Potatoes are one of those things that really needs salt. My hands are dirty, so I'm not gonna put them in my salt box. So I'm gonna add probably about a teaspoon of salt to that. Now, again, let me just show you, because this is a great way to cook these potatoes. Take your foil, if you want to do it this way, and then take some of your potatoes, make sure you get a little oil, just like that, and then fold them up, just like this, and bake them on your sheet pan, or you can bake them on a campfire, on the grill, just like this. This is a great little way to grill potatoes. If you're grilling burgers or steaks or chicken or ribs or whatever you're doing, you can put these right on your grill and it will cook that way. Now I'm just gonna do them on a sheet pan today, but I wanted to show you how you can do them. I'm going to just put those all out like that on the sheet pan. And I'm going to put that in the oven. And again, if you have an onion, you can add that. Really, you could even, I'm going to use this in the spinach, but if you wanted to dice up a pepper, a roasted, like a red pepper or even a green pepper, you could put that in here with it. And as a matter of fact, I don't need this whole pepper. This is how recipes are born. Let's just go ahead and put a little bit of this pepper, maybe half of it, in the potatoes, because it really is very good if you like peppers, and I happen to adore peppers. I love roasted red peppers. Now let's just cut it into slices, and remember to cut your peppers from the inside. It's a little easier. Tuck those fingers back and cut it into just some cubes. Let's go ahead and let me just do it this way. Put it in the bowl. You want to coat them with a little oil. Just a touch of salt. If you've never had a roasted red pepper, you're missing something, my friend, because they are wonderful. And then just toss that in with your potatoes. And the pepper will roast alongside the potatoes. And if you wanted to use green pepper and onion in there, you're making what's called O'Brien potatoes, which are delicious. Now, make sure that they're kind of all in a single layer. Now, I'm not really looking to color these potatoes, to roast them like we do sometimes. I really want them to be soft and tender. So I'm going to cover this. Let's see if I got it big enough. Yeah, no, we'll do it this way. With some foil. And to hold that moisture in and the steam from the potatoes in, just a couple of layers of foil. Got that one a little short, but that's okay, we'll make it work. And then we're gonna put this in the oven too. So this is kind of an oven-friendly meal. We're gonna put this on the shelf underneath our potatoes. And we're going to let this cook about about 20 to 25 minutes, and then both the chicken and the potatoes will be done. I'm just going to clean this up, wait on that to bake, and when I come back, we're going to make the best little quick, soft side dish that you have ever made. We'll be right back in just a minute. Hi everybody, and we're back. Now our chicken is done, and I want you to see, I'm going to take the chicken breasts out and cover them to keep them warm. How much juice came out of the chicken and the butter that I put in there. Oh, I wish you could smell this. So I'm going to take the chicken out. I'm going to cover it with foil to keep it warm, and I'm going to reduce those juices a little bit and make like a little pan sauce. So what you need to do is just put the heat back on, and of course we want to scrape up the bottom of this pan, because those, in cooking terms, that's hot, I gotta be careful. In cooking terms, it's called fond, but it's flavor, and you do not want to waste those. So we want to use a flat-edged something. I'm going to use this. I'm going to get it hot again, and I'm going to let that reduce. Then I'm going to deglaze it with some butter, and we're going to, it's going to be good. So let's get started on our spinach dish. Now I have here just 2 bags of fresh spinach, and I'm going to juice, get my stuff situated here, a couple of lemons. I'm going to do it over a strainer to catch the seeds, because I'm going to add some fresh lemon juice at the end of this. I'm also going to add a little bit of this juice to that sauce. A little acid in there makes it taste really good. So I'm going to juice 2 lemons. I've got that over medium-high heat. Turn it up just a little bit. If you're working with the cast iron pans, remember that they retain heat a whole lot, so you might want to reduce your heat a little bit. I love the cast iron pans, the enamel coated and the regular. It's a great, great type of cookware. And there's many brands out there, some very expensive and some not. That one is a Cuisinart, which I find, I go to lots of those like discount houses, you know, like the Tuesday Mornings, TJ Maxx, Ross, that kind of thing. Every chance I get, and I look through their cookware, and I have found some really, really nice cookware at those places. I found, personally at home, I found an all-clad 12-inch skillet, which normally sells for about $180 to $200. Duh, I can't afford to pay that. But I found one, it's been about a year ago, at one of those stores. I believe this one was TJ Maxx. It had been marked down to $39.99, and then it was on sale for 50% off of that. So I found a $200 skillet and got it for basically 20 bucks. Deal of a lifetime. So always check those little places out. You never know what you're going to find. Now my juices are simmering, and I'm going to just scrape the bottom of that pan. I'm going to preheat this skillet on medium-high heat. I just want to get that fond off the bottom of this pan, and I'm going to let those juices simmer until they reduce by about half, and that will take about 3 to 5 minutes. Now in this skillet, I'm going to saute some spinach. Now I want to dice up the other half of that pepper, because that takes a little longer to cook than spinach. Spinach just takes a minute or 2. I love cooked spinach. It's very healthy. I love raw spinach. I love all kinds of vegetables. If you watch this program much, I guess you know that. Vegetables are just a big deal to me. I really like them. So let's add some just vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, whatever you have. You can use olive oil in a case like this because you're not doing a long cook, you're just doing a quick little simmer. Let that heat up just a minute more. Now, you see the bubbling in this pot? That's good. That means that moisture is evaporating out and we're reducing the sauce, condensing the flavor, essentially is what you're doing. And it's going to be so, so, so good. Now let's add our red pepper to our skillet. Just want to briefly saute it. I'm going to turn it up just a little. I've got a clove of garlic. I think I just need 1 clove of garlic. Fresh garlic that I'm going to peel and just dice up. If you have a little garlic press, you can use it. But if you'll take your little thing and smash it first, it's a little bit easier to mince up. And then take your knife. Remember how we do this. One end on the cutting board. This is a smaller knife. I like a bigger knife, but oh well, we'll make do. And go over it. Be sure you wipe down your blades carefully ever so often. My boys love to do this, and they're very good at it. Get those kids in the kitchen with you at an early age and train them how to do this stuff safely. Now, I don't want to add the garlic right yet. I just wanted to mince it up. 1 clove is enough. If you really like the flavor of garlic, you by all means could add another clove if you wanted to. I'm going to just kind of get that going. Our potatoes are still roasting. All right, let's check on our juices real quick. This doesn't take very long. Needs just a minute more. Concentrating those flavors. You don't have to do this. I promise you that chicken is good on its own, but you've got these wonderful flavors. Why not make a quick little pan sauce to go with it? Now, what I want to do is I want to add just a touch, not too much, maybe a teaspoon of the lemon juice. And I'm going to add a couple of pats of butter. I'm going to whisk them in one at a time. Let it melt. If you had some fresh thyme, you could use that in there, add that at the last minute, that would be good. But we're not going to do that today, but you could. Now, I'm just going to let that simmer for about 1 more minute, and then that is done. Saute our peppers. That one, I didn't get that one cut, did I? Careful if you do this. I did. It just didn't go through the skin. Just for a minute. You don't need to do too much. You still want to retain that freshness. Let it go for about another 30 seconds or so. Now I've got 2 bags again of just fresh baby spinach, washed, ready to go. You can totally use this for salads too, which is usually what people think of, but you can cook this. Now, let me say, you may be sitting there saying, boy, that is a lot of spinach. Well, if you've ever cooked spinach, you know this fact. This will cook down to nothing. So I'm gonna add it a bag at a time because it will reduce quickly. I'm also gonna add my garlic so it can get down in there and get the raw edge off of it. I'm actually gonna use, it's okay to use these tongs. Get it in there, it falls all over the place, that's okay. Let it go for just a second. Turn your gravy off. You don't want that to boil away. That's ready to go. You take that off the heat. Get some tongs. Turn it over. And as you see, it'll start wilting, and once this batch wilts down, then I'm going to add that other bag. It'll just take a second. Okay, let's stop, Dana. 1 minute and 13 seconds. All right, now our spinach, as you can see, this is both bags, is wilting down. I'm going to add some of this juice, about a teaspoon or so. Just reserve that for another use. You don't want to overdo it. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of fresh ground pepper. And that's it for the spinach. It just needs to finish wilting here a little bit. How good that is. Spinach literally just takes a couple of minutes. Oop, one of my peppers went out. Okay, now let's just let that do its thing. It's done. Let's plate up our dish. Now, we've got our wonderful chicken. Let's get one of those chicken breasts. Some of this pan sauce. Over that. See why you want that pan sauce? Look how good that looks. Now our potatoes are done. So let's get some of our potatoes. They're so soft and wonderful with those red peppers in there. You don't have to put the red pepper in. I just wanted to show you a variation. And our delicious spinach. Look how much that shrunk down. And there you go. A delicious, healthy, easy meal that you can fix either in your oven, on your grill, or over a campfire. Thank you for joining with me, and I will see you next time on Everyday Manna.
Thank you for watching Everyday Manna with Lisa. This program is made possible by viewers like you. Your support is continually needed to keep Christian programming on the air. Please send your best financial gift to Living Faith Television in care of Everyday Manna, P.O. Box 1867, Abingdon, Virginia 24212.